What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new series of episode reviews. This is, how do you pronounce this name? Takt Op Destiny?
Yeah. That's it's pretty, well, Takt is like spelled T-A-K-T.
Takt Op Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering, never really had a chance, I never really put any attention to this show until just recently, so I got to watch the first episode like literally late last night, and it honestly looked like really good, to be honest. I mean, well, the plot itself, like, it's pretty unique in a ways, and it basically just introduced us to three of the main characters of the show, but it basically gives you the basic premise of what it's about.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, visually, the show looks great. Apparently this is a collaboration between Mappa and Madhouse, which, I mean, Madhouse is pretty much, I mean, they're all around pretty great animation studio, and I mean, Mappa has been doing some pretty great things, so I mean, it's interesting to see them kind of work on something together, and I guess we don't have to hopefully worry too much about Mappa staff being overworked with this production, considering it's like a collaboration, so maybe there won't be as much overwork going on with this one.
Yeah, and hopefully there's no like backstage drama going on with the studio nowadays. But yeah, apparently Takt Op. I didn't realize that this is based off a mixed media project. I guess it's a role playing mobile game that's released in Japan as of right now. So I don't know if it's gonna be released on stateside. I mean, so right now, as of right now, I haven't seen any gameplay of this mobile game at all. So I'm just curious what it is. Either if it's gonna be a rhythm game, or if it's just or like it said, it's a role playing game, or like with certain mechanics. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So what the show is about? It takes place on Earth, and the story starts out with with them explaining that the world got hit by like a meteor shower, like two sets of meteor showers. One where like there's these like golden meteorites, and then the second set were like darker black meteorites that released these monsters that I guess that wreaked havoc on the world. And supposedly they get stopped by these mystical creatures, or whatever these things are called, the music arts. Now, what attracts these monsters is of course music, and whenever they hear any music, they go around and attack the general populace. And of course, the music arts are there to help stop and defend wherever these monsters are attacking these places.
Yeah, we kind of just get the gist of what happened through this mother reading her child a story, and which I guess is supposed to be an accurate account of what happened. And I guess this is obviously supposed to take, well, this, I mean, first of all, the interesting thing too is that this takes place in America, and I could already tell based on the setting and the name of the kid, but yeah, basically the kid wanders off into a market and encounters a piano, and he's about to touch the piano until this guy shows up, and he basically starts playing the piano. We find out the guy's name is Takt, which is the series name, but he starts playing the piano and it ends up attracting one of these monsters that destroys part of the town, and ends up it is about to basically it basically is about to attack him until it's intercepted by this girl who ends up fighting it. And I mean, this is really where we get to see how good the animation is for this, which, I mean, that's pretty much the main takeaway from this so far, is the animation is, both the art and animation are really top notch. And I mean, it was a pretty good fight scene, but some interesting things with how it plays out is that obviously Takt is the one who I guess is powering this girl with the music, and at one point during the fight, his arm comes off, and this happens a few times in the episode, and I don't think they really explain why this happened, but like his arm comes off, and like he's like conducting. It seems like he's like, conducting with one hand while she's fighting, and her weapon at some points turns into a gun. It seems like it can transform into both a gun and a sword. And then when he starts playing the music, she gets this like I guess magical dress or something. And she kind of looks remind me a little bit of Neuro Saber with like her outfit. But yeah, she ends up fighting this monster and taking it down. So, and we kind of not too long after this kind of get introduced to, I guess you'd say the main three characters of the show.
Yeah. So, well, of course, the three main characters. Of course, the main conductor character is named Takt. This magical girl, I think. Well, it's confirmed that she's like one of the music arts. Her name is Corset. I guess that's how it's pronounced. And then, of course, the final person, of course, is I guess her name is Anna, and I guess she's like one of their handlers or one of their friends. And their main goal is,
Well, she was the sister of Corset, wasn't she? Or like the older sister, or the girl. Like
I think.
Yeah, because she says she's like that's her little sister.
Yeah, but when I'm like listening to Corset, like she's talking like like well obviously she's not a person of this world, so she's obviously like maybe adopted. Maybe an adopted sister of Anna.
Well, that's the thing, we don't know. Like, we don't really know the circumstances or the backstories of any of these characters. I mean, like, the way the show starts, it seems like they're just kind of throwing us into the middle of things with these characters. Like, we just kind of got introduced to them in this episode, and there are a lot of things, like, there's a lot of questions we have about them that I guess is going to be revealed throughout the series, or maybe in the next episode, where we'll get their backstories, because as of now, like, we really don't. We kind of know next to nothing about them, which I guess is an interesting way of doing things. Like, because there are some series that kind of throw you into the middle of things, and they don't really explain who certain characters are, and you don't really know anything about them until like later on.
I'm probably expecting some kind of origin episode to be released sometime next week. Maybe
they had like a really brief scene that looked like it was maybe some kind of a flashback in this episode, but it's just like one scene, and they don't really explain what it is. So,
yeah. So the interesting thing about what happens after the fight is Takt pretty much loses his energy and just falls off the roof of one of the buildings, and then just crashes down on the floor. Now it's surprising that he's not dead from that kind of fall, and he just like
he face planted into concrete.
Yeah. So supposedly, like, what happens like after each fight throughout the entire episode is both Takt and Corset both like expend a lot of energy, and they both exhaust themselves to the point where, well, mostly just Takt, like where he just can't move at times after each battle, and Corset is the one who's still moving around, still fine and all. But yeah,
we also discover that when she expends a lot of energy, she just has to eat a lot of food, I guess.
Yeah, I'll eat a lot of sweets in particular. But yeah, so they end up leaving that area, and apparently the three main characters' goals are to go to this like Symphonia event in New York City, and I'm guessing the show's basically gonna be them just trekking across the entire United States until they get there. I don't know if it's gonna last the entire season, but it probably most likely is, I'm guessing. But
yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Garo Vanishing Line, where the characters are like riding on motorcycles across the United States, trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, but pretty much the entirety of the episode is just them trying to figure out how to get over to New York safely, but at the same time they're also like hampered by these monsters like getting in their way from time to time. So at one point they stop by at a diner, and they hear that they can't pass to that area, but because there's a giant monster like hiding out in some sort of like abandoned plant or something like that. So they end up trying to fight it at first, but of course they end up failing badly. And then soon afterwards, shortly afterwards, they they go back for the exact same piano that they were playing earlier on in the episode, and then of course Takt ends up playing one of the music. I forgot what track this is. I know the song of this.
I think it's Moonlight Sonata.
Moonlight's like, oh, okay.
It sounded like it.
Yeah, so he ends up playing the song, which I guess the way it ends up replenishing their energy or gives them an advantage is that they're playing music. But of course, at the same time, whenever they play the music, it attracts these monsters. Now, one thing I forgot to point out is that the world that they're in has pretty much abandoned the concept of music for years or decades now because of the monsters invading the planet. Because if anyone ends up playing any music, whether if it's like playing on an instrument or playing it on a radio or a music box, and it'll just immediately attract the monsters wherever they are.
Yeah. Yeah, but the remainder of the episode is, of course, the fight scene with this monster. And again, like, the animation here just looks really great. Probably the best looking fight scene of the whole episode. It's just a confrontation with this monster, and it ends up eventually getting beaten by Takt and Corset. I thought it was a pretty interesting, pretty intense scene. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, again, his arm disappears, and I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I'm guessing it's something else they'll explain later on. But yeah, I mean, that's more or less where the episode ends. I mean, the three of them get back, in the car and just, I guess, are going to the next place. I will say, like, one of the things I also liked is, like, the general banter between the three of them. Like, Corset just kind of acts like a robot at times, and then she's, I guess it's sort of just going to be played as a running joke, her, like, eating all the time, and her sister getting upset at things. It seems like there's just kind of this group dynamic they have, I guess, but, I'm kind of, like, hoping they'll, like I said before, like, explain who each of these characters are, like how they know each other and all that, like their general backstories as the series goes on. Because, like, with this first episode, it just feels like we're just kind of dropped into the middle of things, and and also with the, I guess, the general, like, magic system or whatever, like how that works. Like, I guess, for example, like what the deal is with his disappearing arm. I kind of want to know that too. Yeah. And maybe some more things about the origin of these creatures. I guess they might go a little bit more to that later. But yeah, as of right now, we're kind of left in the dark about certain things about the world and these characters in particular.
Yeah, this episode just basically just shows off, the characters' abilities and just a rough idea of like what the world they're inhabiting is. But yeah, I'm probably obviously expecting some kind of origin episode to, maybe by next week's episode, or maybe they're going to show it maybe in certain segments in each episode throughout the season.
Yeah, that's something else I thought about, is that they might just show throughout the series instead of like have an episode dedicated to it.
Yeah. As of right now, I don't know how many episodes this is going to encompass. Maybe if this is only going to be one core, or maybe it's going to be two cores. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so far, I like I said, I don't know the details of what the story is, or like how this is connecting through like one of their mobile games, or if it's going to be like some kind of original story that's based off the game or something.
Yeah, it is kind of weird whenever they adapt one of these mobile games, because you're not sure if they're coming up with like an anime original story, or if they're like actually adapting the mobile game itself. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Yeah,
but honestly, like, I really enjoyed it. Like, well, animation style wise, anyway. But I am impressed, like, on how Mappa and Madhouse are pretty much going all out with the animation of this show, like immediately already, just the first episode. Like usually we don't get to see like the full potential of Mappa, like in some of their series, until like maybe probably by the second half of of most of their shows, but they just immediately just go all out in this episode.
I will say it's also kind of interesting how some aspects of this series, just the I guess the general like road trip across America thing, reminded me of Garo, because Garo was actually another series that Mappa worked on. So I have to wonder if maybe that was something they took inspiration from, or if it's just coincidental. But it's it's just kind of interesting how this show kind of feels like some other series we've seen. Not in a bad way. Like I think it took some inspiration from other things.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it almost like Corset's like appearance almost reminded us of like Nero from the what was it, the Fate.
At least like her outfit and like her weapon.
Yeah, and also the monsters also kind of reminded me of the angels from Evangelion. Some of them appearance-wise looks kind of similar in a way. But yeah, I am interested to see like what the rest of the show is going to be about. So hopefully we'll get to see what's going to happen by next Tuesday's episode.
Yeah. Well, that all being said, I guess until next Tuesday, we will see you all next time.